Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the No Laying Up podcast. Soly here. Got another new fun episode for you today. I got sat down with my guys DJ, TC, and Neil, and we went through courses we want to play in 2025. A couple things I want to get out in front of. Are we very punchable in this episode on all the things that we list of what we'd like to do this year? And I just want to take a second to recognize the privilege that we have of getting access to some of the world's best golf courses. Yes, that is very much in this episode. Also, no way we can get to all this in 2025, but kind of did a little bit of bucket list listing, if you will, and just fun to talk about some places we want to go see in the world. Always talking about some of this, but we'll break it. We get into some of that. We'll give a shout out to top100golfcourses.com. If you're watching this on YouTube, we used a lot of images from a lot of different places, but used a lot of the images from their website as well. And I just love perusing their website and seeing places around the world, and it was a great resource for this episode as well. And lastly, this episode is brought to you by our friends at Rhoback. You all know Rhoback, best fit, best feel. It's getting to be St. Patty's season. There is no one that is more ready than Rhoback. They just released their St. Patrick's Day collection. I think it's called the Dublin collection. It's fantastic. The designs are so good. They got fun prints. They got cool stripe combos. They're classic solids. They have it all between polos, hoodies, and Q-zips. They just do green really well. I'm not a big green guy, but I got a lot of green Rhoback stuff. Actually, one I got on today is like the very first hoodie we ever did with them like 4 or 5 years ago. The quality stands up 4 or 5 years later. So they also recently restocked their Delta pants, our favorite pants for the golf course. They have the stretch waistband that's genius. It gives you just enough for a comfortable yet secure fit. Of course, the fabric is fantastic. And if you're getting ready for a spring golf trip with your buddies, let us introduce you to Rhoback Sprint Joggers, the go-to travel pants, especially for golf trips. They're incredibly comfortable, lightweight, great soft feel. Rhoback quality is just different. We wouldn't be talking about as much as we do if we didn't think they had the best quality out there. So time to load up on some Rhoback. Code NLU at Rhoback.com. Get you a generous 20% off your first order through the end of this week. That's RHOBACK.com. 20% off all pants, polos, hoodies, and more with code NLU. Without any further delay, let's get to the pod.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the No Laying Up podcast. We got a little different one today. We've been doing some different stuff. It's been fun, man. We got a little bit of an open mic night vibe going on. You know, it's just let's throw it around. Let's see what we come up with. We got a full house. I'm DJ, of course, joined by my guy TC. Greetings.
Greetings. I'm excited for this one. This is right up my alley.
Joining him down there in the Florida cold, we've got Soly.
We have not, I will call this out now. I do not think we have put the proper constraints on TC for this episode. If there's ever an episode for us to break contain, it's going to be this one. And I've already said this. Like I'm willing to cede time. He can go as far down the leaderboard, down the list as he wants on this one.
I mean, Soly, I proposed this idea, so I feel like it's only right
to run.
So I
room to run.
And of course, rounding out the foursome here, our beautiful baby boy Neil. Greetings.
Gentlemen, good to be here. We've created a skunk works situation for TC. We've broken him out of the main pod so we can do some R&D.
So here's the concept. So you're going to hear this a lot from us on the podcast in person. It's just, X golf course. Oh, that's on my list, man. That place is on my list. I want to go see that place. It's on my list. So I think TC, you kind of put a bony finger in everybody's chest and said, well, what's the list? What the hell are we even talking about? Neil, I know you love putting stuff on paper. It doesn't become real until it gets put on paper. So TC, what's the idea here?
Yeah, basically just where do you want to play in 2025 and somewhat beyond as well? If that doesn't happen in 2025, and I think there's some themes that will emerge here. We've got some different categories we can kind of go down. But yeah, as I was thinking about this, DJ, I'm jealous of where you live, right? Neil, I'm jealous of where you live because you have so many interesting places to go see within an hour's drive. And Soly and I are not necessarily in that same bucket down here, but there's some other themes as well of just, it's kind of, hey, what am I into? And you really almost don't even realize it until you start making a list like this of, am I into new stuff? Am I into scenic, good walks? Am I into like weird, crazy design? Like what gets me going? So
that's well said. That it's a very clarifying process. And so you mentioned the categories. We put together 5 of them, and these are all fungible, guys. There's no rules. We're just kind of we're making all this up. So the categories are within an hour's drive. If you want to stretch that to an hour and 6 minutes, that's okay. I don't think anybody's gonna get.
I'm gonna have to. Everything's an hour.
I honestly, I was thinking about that. I was like, man, I don't even know how you get out of the city.
But I would say
could be helicopter too.
The day trip, but there's like a sub day trip.
Yeah, that's category 2, day trips. I kind of was thinking like within, call it 4 hours, 4.5 hours, somewhere you could kind of, if you really wanted to stretch it, you could go up and back, or you could go for an overnight trip, things like that. We're gonna do a golden age category, just some real nose up in the air, high-minded golden age architecture
Doesn't
category.
have to be,
Doesn't have to be
nose up
snooty.
in the air.
You're right,
Yeah.
you're right. But looking for a certain kind of style and aesthetic and time period there. Then a wild card category, just like, man, I can't stop thinking about this place. I don't know if it fits into any of these categories. I don't know if I'm going to get on an airplane to go see it, but I really would like to. And then finally, bucket list. People talk about bucket list golf courses. I just wanted to narrow it down. What are your top 5 currently? It's kind of like Randy's Gottening list. I know it moves around a lot, kind of a power rankings that's a living document. But here on this day that we're recording, we're going to go through our top 5. So the first one we mentioned is within an hour's drive. These are kind of like in your quote unquote neighborhood. And Neil, I want to start with you. I know your neighborhood it's a different situation than all of us are in. You're living in Brooklyn. There's not really the little pitch and putt around the corner from you necessarily, but take us to where your mind was on this one and what was on your list.
Yeah, I feel like I've explored the New York golf scene pretty well. I was kind of proud of myself in prepping for this pod of like, oh, I've seen a good amount of stuff that I would consider in my version of within an hour. Rockaway Hunting Club, the Creek, been up to Wingfoot, Baltusrol, like all the kind of the heavy hitters you'd think of. And I'm going to throw a curveball at you. One that and I hear it from a specific type of person. The caddies. Whenever I have a caddy, like, have you been to this place? You should check it out. Which is, sometimes you're like, okay. Bayonne. You see it when you fly into New York. It's close. It's like kind of like Liberty National. It's right there, just across the river. It's got this big ass flagpole and big ass flag, which I love. It's built on an old
one of the only
trash
things
dump.
I know about it. Yeah.
Jimmy Hoffa might be buried under the 8th green. Who knows? It looks like a striking piece of property, and it looks, but it also looks a little ostentatious, a little outrageous. And I think it's from a amenities standpoint, similar to Liberty, like work hard, play hard. Like, check out this fucking view, check out this fucking bar, check out how big the names are on the lockers. Check out how big this flag is. So it's like the caddies are like, oh, Bayonne, dude, it's first class over there. And so I'm just curious. I'm constantly curious about it because when I drive home from New Jersey from my in-laws, I often drive through Staten Island, and you can't see Bayonne, but you can get right at this. If I have to take this spot to get around traffic, you can get a peek of the flag. And I'm always like, there it is. Oh, that's where it is, because it's like, there's like the New Jersey wetlands, and then there's like where all the warehouses, like Lineage, the frozen foods, got a big distribution center, big ass sign. I'm always like, fucking JT shirt.
Wait,
there it is.
Is that what Lineage does? They do
frozen food
foods?
delivery. Yes. And they
really?
I think they just went public too. Anyway, getting off track, but Bayonne is in this like weird, like peninsula in New Jersey, but looks like it's part of Staten Island. You kind of get mixed up on like which side of, cause there's the Hudson River, but then there's these, channels that separate Staten Island from New Jersey, but then there's also some inlets, so you don't really know like where you are sometimes when you're driving through there. So anyway, Bayonne's one.
That's a great one. Pure curiosity, right? You got to have a perspective on it.
And I've never had like a good reason to go. And I, maybe it sounds like I'm throwing a little shade. I love Liberty. I truly, it's like, I like that kind of experience is fun, man. Hell yeah. Like, let's go check it out. I love the skyline in the background is a very unique thing in New York golf that you're not going to get. I think I said in our city tour video, I can't think of another course that's that close to a striking urban area.
Yeah.
You could talk about like Harding Park, like there's some stuff in cities, LACC maybe, but like just having the skyline like right there is really cool. Second on my list, Siwanoy, kind of an understated, I think under talked about course north of the city. And I have a friend that just moved up there. Shout out to Good Time Pots. He moved like 5 minutes. So I've been up to his house a couple times in Eastchester, and I drive by Siwanoy, and it just looks delightful.
Eastchester.
No idea there's an Eastchester.
The town of Eastchester in Westchester County. And Siwanoy is right down the street, and it's one of those
Russian
courses,
nesting doll of Chesters.
Yes, it is. It's one of those courses that it just looks delightful. There's no fence around it. You kind of just drive this road that around the outside, and you're like, God, that just looks like a really fun northeastern golf course that's built in a neighborhood, but only has houses around the outside. And I don't hear a lot about it, so it doesn't have that like, maybe it is stuffy, but it doesn't strike me as a stuffy place. It looks like just a delightful country club. And then my third one, I put some constraints on myself, is a place called Fairfield Country Club in Connecticut. I think the entire back nine is on the Long Island Sound. I've heard really good things about it. I believe it's a Seth Rayner. Someone can check me on that.
It got molested really, really, really badly.
Uncle Mo got a hit. Got
Reese Jones.
Hands on it. Work there.
Like to the point of like, there's some holes that are just unrecognizable.
Is Reese the new Uncle Mo? That might have to be. Who would you say? You think Reese is Uncle? Who is Uncle Mo? TC officially.
I mean, I think it was Reese's dad. Robert Trent Jones Sr.
Grandpa Mo.
And then the brothers had to kind of cover up the cruise division after that.
Lester. What was his name? Lester.
God, I can't remember.
Anyway, Fairfield. It looks like a striking property. I haven't played a ton in Connecticut. I played Keeney Park, which I really liked, which is a public course with the New York Roost. Did the Shepherd's Open. I actually have
I was wondering why you were shoehorning that one in.
My winning staff here from the Shepherd's Open. Just want to get that in there. Best trophy I've ever gotten. And yeah, I can't. It feels like Fairfield's close to the city. Like it fits this category of like, oh, I could get up there and back home. That's the within an hour vibe for me.
That's good stuff. There's a lot of it's a varied list. I love it, Neil. Great start. I want to go to the Jacks boys next because I lived in Jacksonville for a decade, and I am very curious where you guys are taking this one because I'll just go ahead and say it. It's a little tough, man. There's not a ton of hidden gems around. I feel like Soly, what kind of set me up for where you're going.
I played a little FSGA one-day event up in Amelia Island at a course called Oak Marsh. It's beautiful like property, and I just walked away from being like, that is such a waste of all of this property. Like it's just
literally that's kind of the TPC Louisiana for me. Of like I may have played that golf course and I may have not.
No, but I think Oak Marsh, they're redoing it right now.
That's what I'm getting.
I know you're getting there. But Deej, it's different than that because you can tell it's got good holes, it's got good stuff. It was just overgrown and greens shrunken and all that.
I'm almost positive I sent you guys a picture from the first hole of that one-day event that I was like in the right side of the fairway, just behind a tree that had encroached on the fairway. Like it just was truly just a model for like, dude, somebody needs to come in here and just do like the basic stuff, and it's going to be a wonderful place to play. And allegedly, Bo Welling has done that. I know there's been some. I don't know if it opened yet or not. I know there was going to be a grand opening in the fall. We had a couple kind of hurricanes roll through, do enough damage that I know they pushed it back at least a little bit. But that is a place within an hour of my house that I would like to seek out and go play in 2025.
Amen, Soly.
Yeah,
that was first on my list too, and I think it's an interesting thing because there's a lot of these Pete Dye courses that are going to need to be kind of redone or spruced up a little bit, and there's kind of a land grab going on of who's going to be doing that. Is it the Weed Man? Is it Bo Welling? Is it Davis Love and Scott Sherman and Mark Love? There's all sorts of conjecture there. But yeah, Oak Marsh was co-signed that one, so I'll go up there with you.
Let's do it. I don't know if this one's on your list, TC. If you've ever flown out of Jacksonville and gone north, and if you're in the skies,
yes, sir,
and you look down and look for golf courses and try to figure out what they are, there's a 9-hole course just north of the city. Every single time I fly by, I'm like, this looks like the Bahamas. It looks like, what is this place? It is the Dye course at White Oak. It's a private 9-hole course that I've never talked to anyone that has played it. Don't know how you get on, but that's within an hour of my house. And that came up as like literally quite like a true hidden gem. It's like somebody's personal golf course, I'm pretty sure.
So, okay, we went up there and played before the NIT, Whitehall, like the pub. There's a public short course, White Oak.
Yeah,
that's and then across the fence is this private 9-hole course.
I think it's 18. It's not.
Yeah, I think it was the last course that Pete Dye designed. So from talking to the pro up there that day, Pete Dye's last course that he designed was what he told me, and it's owned by the guy used to own the Dodgers, and I think he made his money on parking garages. I can't remember his name though.
Well, the guy that. Well, yeah. So you're kind of crossing streams here. I think the guy that used to own it.
Chopped down a cherry tree.
And then Mark Walter owns it, who's the chairman of, I think he started Guggenheim Partners. He's the CEO of Guggenheim Partners, and he owns the chairman of the Dodgers.
Okay.
All that. So
that's what he's doing.
Maybe
with
not the
deferred
parking
money.
garage.
Yeah, all the deferred money goes into this golf.
Went into
course.
the green complexes.
But apparently they keep it spotless, and he shows up
looks
like twice a
incredible.
year, and nobody else plays it, which is because you can get a peek at it across the fence on like the end of the front nine, I think, on the little short course. There's also like giraffes and rhinos and shit out there. Like when you drive in, it's like
crazy.
a game farm or whatever.
Well, it's like, so I think the guy that used to own White Oak back in the day was extremely eccentric. I think Baryshnikov, the ballet guy, was living there for a while, and all sorts of weird, crazy shit.
Just
going
right
on.
outside of Yulee, where Derrick Henry's from.
Yeah.
Which is like
They had
like
the G-
maybe
when
the
they had the-
hot. It's like the center of the earth. It's so hot there, and you're just like, God, these animals, they must be dying out here.
When they had the G8 summit in Sea Island, I think they like helicoptered everybody over there to play golf because it was more secure. But yeah, it's an interesting thing. I think the security out there too, just because they have like, these rhinos with tusks and stuff, like the security's crazy. I mean, it's nuts out there. So just very interesting.
Good luck with that one, man.
Well, I figured if I was ever going to get invited to go play it somehow, it was going to have to be through launching it on the megaphone. To be like, hey, I know a way you can get on. So that was my way of doing that here.
Just manifesting, man.
That's a great answer, Soly, because
Yeah.
I look for that course every time I find a Jax. I'm like, are we on the right route where I can see this like pristine, like what the fuck is that course?
And listen, if there is a public little hidden gem somewhere that I haven't mentioned and some like that I should get to, please DM me. Like I would love to discover that. I just don't know like where this exists within an hour of Jacksonville. Last one on my list. I don't know if it's quite an hour, might be a little bit more. It's the only hard course I think on any of my lists. I've never played Ocean Forest up in Sea Island. I know it's supposed to be extremely hard, probably not right up my alley, but I've played most of the courses up at Sea Island, and that's one that I feel like I should try at some point.
That's inside the C-suite. That is the boardroom, Ocean Forest. You can't. Not even the C-suite can get into the boardroom.
Yeah, your pass would get you in the building, but not in there for sure.
So I've played it once before. It's hard, man.
I know.
It's so hard. Bo Welling just did some work. Maybe you're just a big Bo Welling guy.
I might be.
Possible.
The
Bo Show
podcast. I'm curious what you got cooked up, TC.
Basically had 3. Oak Marsh was the first one. Great Dunes. They're redoing it right now.
Where's that?
Where's that?
That's up on Jekyll Island.
Okay.
I think it's a
Oh,
Travis.
is that the Travis? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's a 9-holer, like right on the dunes. It's in the state park, so there's been all sorts of bureaucratic red tape, but they finally Jekyll's sweet. We played a couple high school events up there. Played Great Dunes like way back in the day. It's just a kind of a big field over the dunes, basically. So I'm really curious to see what they do here moving forward with it. But that's one. And then St. John's Golf and Country Club. I mentioned it on our goals podcast of just playing more golf near here. It doesn't have to be top 100 golf. It doesn't have to be, crazy exclusive. Like that's a semi-private or semi-public course, and excited to go see that.
So there's St. John's. There's the public course that's been redone recently. I think that's St. John's Golf Club.
Is that St. John's Golf Club? Okay.
And I think there's a St. John's Country Club, which is different. And I probably don't even know if I have both of those right. I think you're right. You can book a tee time directly on St. John's Golf Club. It confuses me every time. But there are 2 courses with almost the same exact name down there. The one that I played, the Roost event down at, had 27 holes, switched to 18 holes, has a bunch of templates, really cool contouring, like sign off, double, triple thumbs up. I think maybe one is called Golf and Country Club and the other one's called Country Club, but it's wildly confusing. And but the public one is definitely worth it.
It looks like Golf Club is the one that I need to go play, not Golf and Country Club.
They got to figure that out right now. There's no
listen
there's
back to the last
no reason.
45 seconds of the pod here and tell me if you think that's a good idea.
Can you imagine how disappointed I would have been showing up to Golf and Country Club? I'm like,
Well, they
where's
had,
all
like,
the cool shit?
Honestly,
have
it's
a
a
ton
little
of
bit like Garden
qualifiers.
City Country Club, and Garden City men's club, golf club. It's like, come on, guys, what are we doing?
Neil, the guy that would have been a great one for you, Neil. Yeah, I'm here to play the. Why won't these guys let me in?
Yeah, I got my jacket.
Well, I got a good one. My buddy Evan, long time ago, he went to play with my now brother-in-law friend Jerry Riley, who was a member at Essex Fells in New Jersey, which is like, it's like it's fine. Then there's Essex Country Essex
County Club?
not the one in Boston, but there's an
Oh.
Essex County Country Club in New Jersey. So Evan shows up at Essex County Country Club like ready to play, and that's like a top 100. And they're like, get the fuck out of here, dude. It's just like 10 years ago. He's like a 29 handicap. It's great stuff.
But to both of our points really here, we get so many emails, and we need to write this up at some point or just do a short video on Jacksonville golf. Where should I go play? Like, it is viewed as this golf mecca, and there's some nice country clubs. Obviously, there's TPC Sawgrass here, and there's a decent place to play. It is a very tough place to get a nice tee time when you come travel and visit here. I mean, we send people to Jack's Beach, kind of the Muni course that I haven't been out there in quite some time, but when we had a lot more free time, would go out and play there, for $30, and it's an incredible deal. And they renovated that golf course. It's very cool what they've done with it, but it's like literally people are like, I don't want to pay $800 for Sawgrass. Where should we go? I'm like, go play the $30 Muni. It's not a destination course, but like we just don't have a ton that we can easily recommend here in the greater Jacksonville area. So
I would say go to Bold Bean and maybe like the Lemon Bar would be a probably better use of your
And then
money.
like go play the yards and play the Skins game out there. Neil, Soly, how's that?
Stillwater.
Stillwater.
I haven't played it. I went and shot a bunch of video when he was building it out there, but I have not actually played the golf course. It looks fun.
List too.
Yeah, we should absolutely go play that one. It looks fun.
You gotta get back over to Hyde Park too.
Oh,
Great
God.
bones. Unbelievable.
Could be a top 100.
Have we told that? I don't know if we fully told that story on the pod, but I think it's worth mentioning.
This was like 2016.
Certainly within an hour of your guys' plays. So TC and I used to, when like Tron was the first guy to move down to Jacksonville when I lived there. And so we would go on these little golf, exploration days, and we would go out and play this place, Hyde Park. And there's this great.
They shut down Jack's Beach to renovate.
That's right.
Too.
Yeah. That was right when they were renovating it. So we were looking for other places to play, which is a disaster because they ruined the old 16th hole, but we could take that offline. So we would go play Hyde Park, which is kind of over on the other side of the city near downtown. And there's this great controversy where it was clearly designed by Stanley Thompson, the Canadian architect, but there's pictures of Donald Ross everywhere because somebody messed up like Donald Ross's research. There's another Hyde Park that he did down like Vero Beach or something. So everybody like in the shop and the owners always credit it as this Donald Ross golf course when anybody who's like researched Stanley Thompson is like, no, this is a Stanley Thompson golf course. Anyways, we would go there and legitimately, I will still defend this to my dying day. Great bones. Unbelievable bones, really fun golf holes. You can see what it used to be. They used to have a PGA Tour event, like the Jacksonville Open was there. There's all these plaques about, Ben Hogan made a 9 here, and like
super disrespectful
to Mr. Hogan. And so TSC and I like became enamored with this place. Like it was
a radio tower.
Yeah, you're hitting under power lines.
Hole.
It's like it was $25 to go walk or something. Like it was great. I will concede the condition probably had deteriorated quite a bit by the time Randy and Neil eventually went over there, which is when I'll turn the story over to you, Neil.
So I fly in from San Francisco on a red eye to Orlando, drive up for the players back when it was in May, and Randy's in town, and we're staying with TC or something, and we're like, he's like, you got to go see this Hyde Park place. You got to go see this Hyde Park. So Randy's like, cool, we'll go play golf. So we go over to Hyde Park. It is 950 degrees. The air is heavy. It's thick. And this is like early days at NLU where like I couldn't give a shit about a template hole or just like the bones of a golf course. The course stunk.
Terrible.
Like it was no fun. It was hot as fuck. We walked off the course on like 9th hole. We we're like, yo, you good? Yeah, I'm great. Let's
Which is a shame because like I would say there's like 3 holes on the back 9 that are like among the
Randy are
best
slapping
18
it around,
holes
but
in
playing
Jacksonville.
horrible. Like it's just one of those rounds where like our heart's not in it. We're out of here.
I do not, despite the C-suite reputation, I do not need a course to be in perfect condition, right? I mean, it just does not have to be. The course conditions at Hyde Park are too extreme for me. Like it's just mud. Like every time I've been there, it's just mud.
It's
It's
like,
not.
This is not good.
You could be.
Everybody says it's in better shape than it's ever been now.
You guys should go check it out. Will you guys go report back?
I will.
Honestly, I
Carve
think
out
that's
more.
I might require that.
Yeah.
Like, go get me some firsthand footage of the condition of Hyde Park.
Yeah, you need to go defend our honor, TC.
I've
I
been
would
there
love to see that.
twice. I think I took Bacon there once because he lost a bet
Like-
and he had to play in a onesie. And I was like, dude,
Sully,
we got to
it
go
was
somewhere where
always in-
nobody else is going to be.
It was always in better shape than Palatka.
But Palatka's the charming, not great shape to me. Like, it's fun. It's not muddy out there. Like,
Yeah. No, I think it was
slow
way
greens-
worse than Palatka.
Yeah, way worse. Than Palatka. Palatka's
Palatka's
charming because it's like got these tiny ass small greens with huge undulation, but they stimp at like 7 because of how big the undulations are. It's such a different test. I freaking love Palatka.
God.
There were a few like that down in Argentina. Where I'm like, oh man, this is the wildest combo of firm and slow I've ever seen.
Somebody's gonna swoop in with $10 million and fix up that place. You guys are gonna have egg on
I
your
think
face.
people were trying to.
I know.
Yeah.
Me and TC are gonna be first in line for honorary memberships. You guys.
So
be
if they
fucking fast.
drastically improve the course, you guys will be right about its current condition. Yeah,
We'll be right about having the
It's a-
vision to see.
No,
the
it was
Well,
potential.
it's a
yeah.
So it
Stanley
could be
Thompson,
good.
but they brought in Uncle Mo to renovate Hyde
Well,
Park.
Soly, one of the things I was gonna do, like as far as the day trip stuff or whatever, we can get to this, but is my bone collector.
Yeah.
Uh,
And that's the top
idea
of
where-
props for the bone collector to go.
exactly.
showcase.
That's a bone collector in our own backyard. But I put the lab coat on. I do some forensic scientist stuff, and I go in, take some soil samples, and go down to Polk County or somewhere and say, you know what, this is a proper golf course. It still is. The bones are still here. Let's dust this
I don't know
place
if I want
off.
any of the soil from Hyde Park in my
You
car.
could you might be able to use the Nest gift to collect your soil, TC.
It's true. Good point. All right, I'm gonna whip through my list. I wasn't expecting to do 15 minutes on Hyde Park, but that's one of my favorite stories ever. TC, you mentioned it.
Which also people came down for the players like the next few years
Oh,
after
God.
that.
I was so sick. I think I think Ashley Mayo maybe saw us posted a bunch of stuff on it, and she went out there and just was like, "Man, this place, like, no offense to anybody, but like I don't see what the charm is.
place
This place kind of stinks. I don't really get it." Which yeah, it kind of became a bit by the end, and so I apologize to
Randy and I
anybody who got.
totally vindicated.
Well, you guys thought you were getting punked. You're like, why did they?
Yeah,
send
I
us
did. I
here?
was like, this sucks, dude. It's so hot and it's just not good.
I apologize to anyone who got swept up in the bit, but I'm still long. I'm still
It
holding.
wasn't a bit.
I'm still holding Hyde Park shares.
This was sick.
So, all right, TC, you mentioned it. Blessed with a lot of stuff within an hour to the point where this was almost kind of overwhelming. There's a lot of golf courses I have not played since moving to Milwaukee about 3 years ago.
You also played 10 of these in 2 days, so you had
Well,
to have
that's true.
covered. Yeah, you covered a fair
I've
amount.
covered like the top tier. I've
Yeah.
the Blue Mountain Milwaukee Country Club, Aaron Hills, all the Kohler stuff.
Yep.
We knocked that out early, but that next tier down is where it's like there's a ton of stuff that I just haven't really dove into yet. And so I'm going to stick pretty much with the cream of the crop here and point out a couple that are probably pretty obvious. Number 1, Eagle Springs is a golf course that like it's everything I love about golf and totally inexcusable that I have not been there yet. It's an hour from my house. I forget the claim. I think oldest golf site in Wisconsin or something like that. They started the process in like 1893 of laying this place out. They were going to build kind of it sounds like almost like a Pinehurst style, like true golf resort. Like, let's build a golf course, a hotel, a true retreat for people. Neil, I liked this one. This is from their history quote. William hired A.G. Spalding, a former pitcher and manager of the Chicago Cubs, to design the first 2 holes, and then he let nature dictate the rest of the 18 holes.
Hell yeah.
Which is just a sick yeah, you take the first 2 and then the big man's gonna take over from there. I really enjoyed that. But built up a resort around it, which eventually got shuttered, and then after the Great Depression they reduced it down to 9 holes. If you've seen a photo of this golf course, it's probably the second hole, which is massive, unbelievable volcano hole that just looks
That's exactly
impossible
what I
to-
just googled. Yeah.
impossible to walk up. It's like $20-$25 to go play. Inexcusable. I haven't been there, so that's going to change this year. Second one, TC, you might have. I think you played this one. Pine Hills Country
Oh,
Club
it's awesome.
in Sheboygan. A design of Harry Smead. I think he kind of falls from the Langford and Moreau tree of just get the steam shovels out. Let's get the kind of a brutalist in his own right of let's just get this. Let's bend the earth to our will, but in a very cool way. Unbelievably dramatic land, wild ass greens. I've read Andy's write up of it like 3 different times. I came and met you guys, I think, for dinner maybe the night I
Yeah.
think you and Andy played it before the Ryder Cup maybe. It just looks fucking awesome. I don't know if you have any lasting memories of that place.
No, yeah, I think it's truly I can't remember the last time I was that surprised by a course
Yeah.
pleasantly of just it gets continually better. They have an awesome greens committee, greens chair, and really like engaged, knowledgeable membership where they just kind of constantly tinkering and hey, let's add short grass over here. Let's take down a bunch of trees over here. It was a thrilling golf course. Great logo too.
Yeah.
Like weirdly retro, but in not in a tacky way.
So that's one that, I know I'm not swimming in free time these days, but that one feels like worth an hour drive to go see, and I think we can make that happen in 2025. The next one, this one's kind of just pure curiosity. The University Club, which is out on Good Hope Road. I play golf at the Wisconsin Country Club. And this is the one right next door. And so like when you're driving down Good Hope Road, you kind of hit all these golf courses where there's like Milwaukee Country Club's kind of down River Road, and then you hit Brown Deer Park, and then you hit University Club, and then you hit Wisconsin Club. And they're all just like bang, bang, bang right next to each other. And just from a pure curiosity, like, what's the place on the other side of the fence look like? That's basically this. It's basically the same land, and Neil, it's your boy Tom Bendelow, just stunting out there.
Johnny Appleseed.
I drive by it, and it's like during the summer, there's like a good kind of like hedged fence that's like you can't really see through. But then during the winter, when the hedge kind of dies, you can see out and like see everything that's in there, and it just looks like they've clearly taken out a ton of trees. There's a big windmill out there that I don't, I'd love to get eyes on. So just a purely like, I know what we have at home over here, but like, what's the neighbor's house look like? I would love to take a house tour. It's like when you go visit like a Christmas party or something, you go to the neighbor's house that you've never been inside. You're like, all right, let's look around in here. How's this? You're right next door. I have no idea what's going on over here. So that's why that one's on my list. And then the last one, super, super simple, Shoot Park. It's this little 9-hole course in Racine. Is it the best golf course in the world? Probably not, but it's right on the lake. Costs $13. Kind of winds around this lighthouse in Racine, and it just looks awesome. Looks like a truly delightful type of strapped kind of walk. So wanted to shout that place out, and that one's again worth an hour drive. So
Nice.
Next category.
I was gonna say, I think what we can do is we can take I don't know, a scoring system of some kind, but take the quick little audio bits. If I want to play this place,
Yeah,
that kicks off your little Instagram. When you go actually see it, that kicks off your Instagram reel and see how many we can actually get to in the course of 1 year.
Yeah.
Couldn't agree more. I think this can be an annual pod, and ideally, we're not talking about the same courses every year. We can start. The list is living and breathing.
It would help me on the home front if it's an actual homework assignment. Like,
it's on
the list.
Isolate this audio. I need you to go to Hyde Park.
It's on the to-do list. It's on the to-do list. Got to go see it. Got to go do it.
I need you to go to Hyde Park, man. We need it as a business. There is a business case.
I'm looking too at the Great Dunes course, Soly. It's scheduled to open fall 2025. Brian Ross is the guy there, and so I think we can make that one work in the fall.
Put it on the calendar. No Laying Up is brought to you by FanDuel. Stay locked in on every swing, every hole, and every highlight with FanDuel and the PGA Tour, because right now new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets. If you win, that's $150. If you win, you can bet on outright winners, longest drive, close to the pin, and more. Did we hit another winner last week with Ludwig on the Sunday winner picks? Yes. Are we on a bit of a hot streak with that? Yes, we might. We very well might be. Lots of odds up there. Lots of fun games you can play week in and week out on the PGA Tour on FanDuel. Just visit FanDuel.com/NLU. Make your first bet a gimme with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Stay tuned to our socials. I'll get you that Sunday winner pick. I try to do that every Sunday on Sunday morning. It's one of my favorite things to do is mid-round into the tournament. Who's got the final day stuff? FanDuel, official betting operator of the PGA Tour, must be 21 or older in present in select states or 18 and older in present in DC. First online real money wager, only $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expires 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit rg-help.com. Back to the pod.
All right, let's go back to the top of the order. Day trips. Neil, what do you got?
All right, so this one, I have I guess a category for the first one. Philly golf. I'm embarrassed to say I played Rolling Green and I've played Manufacturers, and I just love the vibe of golf in Philly. It's
I feel like
geared
maybe
towards.
you played one more.
Well, no, I played Stonewall.
Splash World.
Pine Valley.
Oh, Pine Valley. But that's
Oh
I
yeah,
guess,
the greatest
that's
golf course
Philly.
in the world.
No, I was thinking that was New Jersey, but that's a good point. I'll consider that's a Philly region. Okay, so sorry, you got me off track here. I like the vibe of golf in Philly, and let's just name them up: Marion, Aronimink, Philly Cricket. Like those, that kind of like that. Those three to me are like, oh man, I just haven't really seen any of those, and I haven't made an effort to. That's a day
also,
trip.
How far is that?
It would be like 2 hours. I mean,
Oh
depends
my
on
God.
traffic, but like
The
it's not hard to
Northeast
get to Philly.
The Northeast just like bends time and space.
It's like
with
Europe.
how close everything is together.
Yeah, Philly's
Neil,
pretty close.
you may not be welcome at Aronimink after some of the things I said about it not deserving to be in the top.
I'm not
top
my brother's
100.
keeper. I've had to say that to many people over the last 10 years. So I'm not worried about that. There's another club though that has caught my attention for the last 2 or 3 years. It's newer or just got redone. Is the Union League. Union League National, I think it is in New Jersey. It's on the east side of Philly.
Don't they have an awesome logo?
Dana Fry was I think the original architect, but Jason Straka, Flock of Flame, got involved, and like the bunkering just looks really striking. And I've seen a lot of aerial photos of it, and I've just like that's one that's just been like, I'd love to check that place out. Maybe even more so than some of like the gems, right? Like I'm not sniffing for an invite to like the triumvirate there, but those are the Philly golf scene is something. It's like, man, I should make an effort to explore that.
Neil, were you with us when we played Huntington Valley?
No, I wasn't.
That place is
but
dope,
Soly and I
too.
played Manufacturers, and I thought that place was so charming.
Yeah.
It was really, really fun, and just the whole vibe in Philly of like our greens are faster than yours, motherfucker, is like a sick vibe. I love it. TC, I know I've said this before on the pod, but the Philly golf stuff, the GAP, Golf Association of Philly, feels like the Alta Tennis. Like they've got like A, B, C, D, teams, and like people are like recruiting, and it was sick to like kind of get a taste of that when we went to I believe Tom Coyne's event at Rolling Green. This one is no excuse here. I've had opportunities. I need to make it happen this year. Innis. I'm a Rob Collins sycophant. A King and Collins disciple. The fact that I have not been up to Innis north of the city is on me, and I need to go see it. So that's just, we'll just leave that there. I need to get that done. And the third one I have on here is I'm curious speaking of Tom Coyne, I'm curious what's cooking over at Sullivan County Golf Club, what he's up to. It looks like they're kind of deep in some work over there. And I love places like this. I think the Sugarloaf guys have a field club or something up north of the city too. Like that kind of, hey, we bought a golf course and we're just going to see what happens vibe is like, I'd like to check those out. And there's, some other examples of that in the New York area, but I would start with Sullivan County and see what happens.
Gosh. Well said. Solly, to your point on, just go make an Instagram, go talk about it on the pod, like whatever. Neil would listen or watch some footage, content, audio from any of those places. Your reaction.
I guess one other thing I'd add, a course that stands out to me that I played over the last 2 years, TC, was Bedford Springs. Yeah. And I loved it, the Omni property out there. And just the vibe of, presidents and rich people used to go out to the springs to work on their hypertension and exhaustion. Like, I'm not feeling good. I'm going to go for the summer to this like old resort and just hang out. That whole vibe I'm in on. Love it.
3 months.
Yeah. Like I'm having some, it was probably diabetes, but like, no, I'm battling exhaustion.
I have the consumption.
Yeah. Consumption. Thank you. Like the broad, he was sick with consumption.
I have my FDR blanket.
Oh, yeah. So I'm a big fan of that whole scene in like Western Pennsylvania's like rolling hills.
Yeah.
So Sullivan County kind of strikes me as that vibe, and so there's probably some other things out that way that I want to explore.
Neil, I'm so jealous of you. Just like you have, I feel like you could go beat up the shore, like the Fenway, Fenwick, Musquamicut, like all that stuff up the coast there along, Westchester.
We'll get there, TC. Don't steal my thunder.
But then also like Glens Falls. Up in, I think that's near like Cooperstown. That place looks insanely good.
Yes.
Go do some research for fantasy baseball too. I'm hearing you're joining the league.
I'm still in talks with my investor group, but
deadline's today.
It looks like I'm going to put the money together.
York Golf and Country Club, and like they're supposed to have just crazy ass greens.
Would use this opportunity to give a shout out the top 100 golfcourses.com.
Oh, it's great.
Yeah.
has got it is like, I guess under new ownership, balling out, man.
Simon.
Very Simon Holt, shout out, great resource for all this stuff.
Neil, I would say another one for you that you would absolutely love would be Whitensville. It's a 9-holer up in southwestern Massachusetts. It's a Donald Ross, and it is spectacular.
Sounds like the Bone Collector music.
Yeah. Neil, that's a great list, man. Good stuff. I look forward to your dispatch from any of those places. Jack's boys, where are we going? We going to Yulee? We going to what's kind of Valdosta?
Well, you said day trip.
I know. How far did you stretch it?
You didn't say it had to be a day trip driving.
Oh, come
flying.
on.
No, he said 4 hours driving.
I'm pretty sure I did.
Yeah. Which
yeah.
I have 4 hours, 5 minutes for one, if you'll allow it. That's the park.
Unfortunately not.
I haven't been down to the park.
Yeah, solid.
West
The park's
Palm.
sick.
I know. This one didn't get that much easier than the within an hour of my house, honestly. Like, I have that on the list. Congaree, I have not been up to. That's 255 from Jacksonville.
I think you really like it. It's really cool.
Yeah,
it's really cool.
God, Soly, I love how you're time stamping the drive. That's
I had to look these
the
up,
assignment.
man. Like,
that's
good.
good.
There's it's not that easy here. This is beyond, and I have two that are beyond 4 hours. Just again, I didn't find anything else in there. I'm curious to hear TC's. I might just piggyback off of
National Golf
tag
Links.
along with him. Tree Farm is not 4 hours, but I have not been up to the Tree Farm yet.
You can make it in under 4 hours.
TC was really bragging about how fast he was driving last time.
And then one that's 6 hours and shouldn't count at all, but I would like to play at some point here in Florida, Calusa Pines, down there in Naples. But those are my four.
This kind of illustrates like one of the biggest problems with Jacks, and it's not just a golf thing. It's kind of a weekend vacation type.
Yes.
It's really isolated, man. And like, I love Jacksonville. When you're there, there's so many great things. But when you're trying to be like, where should we go for the weekend? It's like, oof.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, I don't know,
Savannah
Orlando or Savannah. It's kind of
Palm
kind of the only
Coast.
option, but understandable hardship.
But I bet TC did better than I did, so I'm excited to hear this.
No, I'm kind of stretching the 4 hours thing.
For sure you are.
A little bit. I thought that was a little bit limiting. I haven't been back to the fields in a long time.
Yeah,
that one kind of, it's technically it's not a day trip, but like I could do that overnight, or I could do that going back and forth to Atlanta or whatever. So the fields, that place just speaks to me, and really want to get back. Like, it seems like they just continually improve. Yeah. So that's one. That's up in, LaGrange, Georgia. A place called Camden Country Club in South Carolina. I'm trying to just get deeper into it's kind of like everything I like about a small piece of property. Sounds like it's a great membership, small town kind of thing that they've really rallied around their local country club. So that's one. Broomsedge is another one.
Yeah.
That, I've played Old Barnwell. I've played Tree Farm, obviously, but haven't been up to Broomsedge. Hearing great things, and excited to see that. So, listen, I could have done the, flying, direct flight up to Newark, and then we can go there. But that'll be like Neil. I've never played Somerset Hills, which is
we need to change that. TC.
Yeah, because I've heard more people say like Somerset Hills is my favorite golf course I've ever played. Like, it punches way above its weight.
I would, it's in my for sure top 5 in the tri-state area. I think it's top 100, so it's not underrated, but I think it kind of is as far as like what gets talked about up in this region.
All right, good stuff. I got a couple on my list.
Actually, one more. It just came to me. I would like to play the Temple.
Love that, TC. Get down to
that's such a good answer.
Technically within 4 hours, right?
Totally.
Yeah. God, what an answer.
God, I didn't even think about that. Anything else on the TGL list while you're down there, or just that one? Just one and done.
I would love to play it. I would play the Temple 18
Spear.
times in a row.
And the Spear.
The Spear.
What's your 18 hole split between the Temple and the Spear?
I don't know. I mean, I haven't played. I'm worried the Spear is irrelevant. Like technology has rendered it irrelevant. So,
God, that's such a good answer. All right, back up to the Midwest here. Day trips. I'm going to start with one that's like top of my list, Minocqua Country Club up in the North Woods of Wisconsin. If you haven't been up there, it's all just like lakes and trees and cool bars, and it's true God's country up there. And Minocqua looks like, I don't really know all that much about it, other than it just kind of looks like very golden age type of feel, but winding through like these big ass trees of the North Woods. It looks fantastic. So that one's high on my list. I'll throw out University Ridge, originally done by Uncle Mo, the father, and it's the campus course at UW-Madison. All my friends who went to UW-Madison just rave about it. Love seeing a campus course. It looks really hard, which isn't always my favorite feature of a golf course, but just one that it's a hole in my resume. Need to see it. Another hole in my resume, I have not really, at least not, maybe when I was a kid, but since we moved here for sure, I have not been up to Door County at all, which is kind of that little finger of, Wisconsin on the east side that you see when you look at the map.
Which would seem to have a bunch of like sandy soil, right? Like
You would think so. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Again, just like a complete blind spot. So there's a couple golf courses up there near like Egg Harbor and Sturgeon Bay and stuff. But the one I'll put on the list and just kind of put into the consciousness is Peninsula State Park golf course. Looks like kind of a muni up there that looks really cool. It looks like it's been around for 100 years, has a cool history. It's right on the lake. I don't know if it's the greatest golf course ever, but get up there when the leaves are popping in the fall and, take a nice brisk around the lake up in Door County, maybe crush some cherries, pie afterwards or something like that. It sounds like a pretty good way to spend a day. What?
I just looked at the map of Wisconsin and I didn't realize there was this little thingy.
Yeah,
And I
man.
didn't realize that's what created the
Sean,
Green Bay.
Yeah.
Sean Zock's from there.
Exactly.
That's wild.
It's a very popular wedding spot. A lot of
You got to get up there, man.
I know. Tell
are
me
you
about
doing?
it.
That looks like
I
a
know.
corner of the country that I'd love to see.
Come see it, brother. Come on up. Let's go.
Get up to that Washington Island on the
That's what I was gonna
tip
say.
top.
There's fucking ferries everywhere, your kayak
on.
everywhere. I mean, I know it looks fantastic. Again, these are inexcusable, Neil. That's why I'm trying to rectify it, man. I'm working on it. And then the last one, honestly, this is borderline, like could have almost been within an hour. The new Medina number 3. Totally redone, blown up and redone by Ogilvy, Cocking, and Mead. Cocking is the future, I believe you said.
Yeah.
TC when we were out at
Yes.
Peninsula Kingswood.
Peninsula Kingswood. So yeah, shout out to RIP to the Tom Bendelow course that was there at Medina number 3. Just straight up, man. Illinois homer, a proud Illinois guy, used to ride for this golf course and its place in golf history. Just not a good golf course and just not fun to play. Soly, I did not have a fun time when we were out there. And
Making a 2 on 16 was pretty fun.
that was cool. I had a fun time like beating your ass, but it was not a fun, it's just not a fun golf course. Like, and what seems like really cool land, it's up and over and rolling and like really cool piece of property, and just repetitive, thick, rough, big trees. Like just not a fun golf course. And the photos that are coming out of there now after this redo just look awesome. Looks like they completely reimagined all the bunkering, added a ton of variety. It looks really, really cool. So bringing
They
that
have
place,
OB inside a bunker.
I know, with all that like cool white split rail fence that just goes down. It just looks sick. So I'm very, very excited to go see the new course there at some point. But before we move on to our final couple categories here, Neil, can you tell us about the Nest?
Yes, it's a community of avid golfers, and it's you get some added benefits at NLU. We just sent out the member gift. Got mission accomplished. Deej talked about it on the Nest Pod in January, which is an exclusive podcast that Nest members get. Half, I would say not half, but a loud minority hates the gift.
Every year.
For now.
A silent majority loves it, privately DMing me what a thoughtful gift. So the gift
Thinking
is
of the
fine.
supers.
Yeah.
Thinking of the supers. It's a very thoughtful gift, but the real gift is the Nest member gift thread on our message board, the Refuge. So if any of this is interesting, or 15% off in the pro shop is interesting, or if just supporting the boys
There you go.
is interesting, and making sure we do more podcasts like this, go to nolayingup.com/join to learn more about the Nest.
And honestly, I'm always blown away at how people repurpose the Nest gift.
100%.
That's what I was saying. You don't have to use it for what
Creativity
we
is
say it's for.
incredible.
I think this is the 6th gift. I mean, we're like 6 years in, which is pretty sweet. So it's starting to create, I don't know, it's starting to have a mythical thing. We're starting to see our lines with what the purpose of the Nest gift is.
And it's just,
and if you're looking for just like a cool logoed hat, you should go. There's other communities you can join. That's not what we're about.
Or you can buy one.
Or you can buy one from our pro shop at 15% off. That's not what the Nest gift is for.
No, the Nest gift is, we were saying it on the pod. It's great art is always ahead of its time, and that's how we felt with the laundry. We gave away laundry bags a couple years ago. People were like,
"Oh, people were furious, furious! Like, are you fucking kidding me? This is pointless." And now, 2-3 years later, we bought 5,000 more. We've sold like 2,000 of them now. Everyone's like, "This is the best gift ever." Like, it just for golf travel. I mean, I can't believe I didn't have a laundry bag before. It's fantastic.
Indeed. So this year, I think is going to be in the pantheon of that. Growers.
Yes.
But
Golf Pride has been the leader in golf trip innovation and technology for over 75 years. They claimed their first major victory in 1958. Since then, Golf Pride has won more majors than any other grip brand, with more than 80% of tour pros choosing to play their grips, and not a single one is paid to do it. The grip, look, it's not just your handle. It's your connection to the golf club, an important piece of your equipment. You can find your fit by checking out the grip selector at golfpride.com to get the right size, the firmness, and texture for your game. Don't forget about your putter. Golf Pride's reverse taper putter grips are engineered with a slightly larger lower section to stabilize both hands for a more square face at impact. I just got one of these myself right at the nearby store, and it's fantastic. It's wonderful. I play the MCC Plus 4s. I've done that for many, many years, long before we were sponsored by Golf Pride, but we are thrilled to have them aboard. Golf season is right around the corner, so it's the perfect time for a fresh set of grips. Listeners of the pod get 20% off a full set of up to 13 swing grips and 1 putter grip at golfpride.com with code NLU at checkout through March 31st. Nest members, you get 25% off a full set of those 13 grips and 1 putter grip with a one-time use that's in your member profile. That's your Nest member profile. Performance is in your hands with Golf Pride's the #1 grip in golf worldwide. Back to the pod.
all right, guys, our next category is going to be golden age courses. You can take this kind of in whatever direction you want. I think we just go one at a time here. So I'm going to start with you. What's kind of a golden age course that's been on your list? Haven't seen it. You're going to bump it up to officially on notice. We are actively trying to play this golf course.
It could have been in day trips. As somebody in Florida, I gotta play Seminole. Like, what are we doing? I've been here.
What are we doing?
I don't think you're going to do that this year.
Is it? When are they tearing it up?
I think they're starting here soon, and they're raising it.
Oh, that's
Like,
right, because the encroaching
feet.
sea.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that may not be on the list for this year, but it's
That's right. We'll get in line.
it's
Start to
a
get in
golden-
line now.
And this is going to be on my bucket list as well. But National Golf Links is the one that I just like lay awake at night, and I'm like, how have I not played that golf course?
Don Quixote's place.
Yeah.
So,
The Bunker Museum.
if you let me have one of those as my top golden age architect course, I need to get to. It's one of those.
I think that's fair. Neil.
So I'm going to kick it off with another off-speed pitch. Spring Lake Golf Club. It's on the Jersey Shore. It's a George Thomas and Tilly collab. Ever heard of it? In-laws used to rent a beach house in
Michael
Spring
Jackson
Lake.
and Paul McCartney.
It's a nice, very nice beach town. I don't know. This house they used to rent was like right down the street. So I drive by it and it just looks awesome and approachable and nobody talks about it. And I was just like, man, I'd love to play that course. And it has that kind of golden age pedigree, but I don't feel like I hear much about it. That's my first answer.
That's a good one. I like that. TC.
I got one it's kind of a golden age, new age collab. Hollywood Golf Club
TC, that was on my list as well.
in Jersey. That's a Walter Travis, Brian Schneider mashup. It looks freaking spectacular. The bunkering and it just looks big and bold, and the walls or the cops that you kind of walk through and all that. So that one's been high on my list for a while now.
That's good stuff too. Neil, we did that personal golf pod, and you kind of single-handedly raised the creek so much higher up on my list than it was before. But I'm gonna go with one that is, again, just a hole in the resume. I've been to Chattanooga 1,000 times and never played Lookout Mountain, and I feel like that's one that I really need to go see. I mean, it just as our guy Patrick, it's a fucking rainer on the side of the
fucking top of the mountain.
Yeah, I mean, what else are you looking for? So that was my list. You guys, you want to go around again? I don't know how many we got in this category.
I have probably 35 different courses.
Okay, why don't we go around 3 times? Soly, what do you got?
Swinley Forest. Colt. Yeah. It's a golf course again that I think it's like low 6,000 yards. I've never been to, don't even know that much about, but one that I feel like I know it's so up my alley, and one that I think about a lot that I would really, 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 really want to play.
Was the Party Panther telling us that Colt was like the Godfather and Mackenzie and
Colt was
two-
like the dude.
He's a
yeah,
menace.
and he like sent, you know, and like Mackenzie and who was the other guy? Maybe Travis. Like they all kind of scattered off of him. I don't know. I won't bog us down and speak.
We'll
out of
get to
turn on
Colt later
architecture.
on too. I got some Colt bucket list.
TC,
stuff.
I had Hollywood on my list. It was actually one I was thinking about from a day trip standpoint. It's a little closer than Spring Lake, and same with you. The pictures look very striking. Easy one for me: Garden City, the men's club or the golf club, not the country club. Devereaux Emmett, touched up by Uncle Mo, worked on by Walter Travis, an early member. Even the Doquitos had you know, put his hands on it. I've heard boring piece of land, exceptional golf course. Don't really know much about it other than that.
Love it. TC?
Moortown, over in the
Where's
UK.
that?
It's in England, kind of central. I don't know. I get canceled every time I try to, you know, say something as far as geography in England goes before, but it's
Canceled.
the Good Doctor, you know, kind of OG Good Doctor shit that I want to see after seeing the Good Doctor work on a flat piece of land and the shit that he did there. I'm addicted, man. I'm on a quest to, like, I want to play. Like, I'm not a top 100 guy. Like, there's plenty of courses in the top 100. I don't really need to see them because it's going to take me from seeing something cooler. But there's certain stuff where I'm like, I want to play all the Mackenzie courses out there.
TC wants that Good Doctor's elixir.
That's a good block. And I
He's
wish
come down with consumption. He needs to go find the Good Doctor's work.
I wish you the best of luck with another incoming cancellation as well. That's good. That's good stuff. I'm gonna go back again. This could have been within an hour, and that just kind of, I think, illustrates the need to go see it. But Economawalk Golf Club is a Donald Ross golf course that is like an hour west of Milwaukee. Economawalk is kind of that's lake country. You get out there towards the Kettle Moraine, you know, where you guys saw Aaron Hills and a lot of the rolling country out there. And there's, you know, throw a Donald Ross golf course out there. I mean, that's kind of enough said. So again, one that I don't know a ton about, which is kind of why I need to go see it. I mean, it's kind of very, very close, man. Could be back before lunch type of thing. So I need to go cross that one off my list. Soly, what do you got?
I have a ton of other Golden Age architects on my bucket list, but that was the
Okay.
two that I separated out for my Golden Age architects.
You cede your
I-
time.
I got two to close it out. Prairie Dunes. I'm a big fan of Perry.
Yeah.
Perry Maxwell. I love Old Town, and I just think Prairie Dunes. I've heard a lot about it, and it seems like a place I should check out.
You know, you would love it. The club itself too. Like, really, even beyond the course, it's just such a welcoming. It's pretty singular, pretty unique spot.
The last one's Crystal Downs. TC to the Good Doctor. Shout out to the Good Doctor.
Yeah.
It feels like I like it when like really respected courses are in weird places. Not that Michigan's a weird place, but kind of a weird, like, oh, okay, cool. So shout out to Crystal Downs.
Neil, come up. We'll go explore Door County and we'll take the ferry over.
I also want to say, Deej, based on this conversation, names in Wisconsin undefeated.
Yeah,
I
man.
mean, some absolutely outrageous towns and just some words you're throwing out
man.
that I'm like, huh?
You start to pronounce some of the names of these lakes around here, and it's just, you want to talk about cancellations, TC. You could really step in one there.
Cancel Christmas.
That's right. Tron, bring us out. Empty the chamber. What do you got?
Yeah, no, I think I'd like to just get deeper on Colt generally. I think Neil and I played Old Elm a couple years ago, and that was fascinating. And I think both Colt and Simpson kind of in on, but I want to work my way up to, like, I got some stuff on the bucket list that, you know, I want to see, but I can't see that until
Some task I got to knock out on the to-do list.
Exactly. And then I've got
reward
just
ourselves.
I love that. It's like prerequisite courses, man.
Exactly.
I'm simply not. You can't just walk into senior year. You know, be lost.
Exactly. And then I've got some cities that I want to go deeper on, like where there's just a preponderance of great stuff. That's like Cleveland. I have not played a lot of golf in Cleveland, and I want to go play Manakiki and Sleepy Hollow and Canterbury and the Country Club, and they've got Brookside Canton is near there and all that. I want to do that. I want to go up to want to go deeper on Minneapolis and the Twin Cities, you get a Midland Hills, you get a Somerset, New
Interlochen.
Interlochen, all that stuff. Yeah. So I think, gosh, what else we got? Royal Worlington and Newmarket is one as well. The Holy Nine. That's one that, I need to see.
You talk about that one all the time.
I'm just dying to see it. It's like,
Wait, where is that?
Like it's in Oxford or Cambridge or
gonna get
I'm
canceled.
going to get fucking canceled.
The Holy Nine.
It's supposed to be like one of the best sets of greens in the world. It's only 9 holes. It's at one of those big universities over there. Silath on Solway.
Oh.
That's one that I'm dying to see. I think, Bill Park, did that one.
Bill
and then
Parks,
some
senior.
some other guys.
Father.
And then Eastward Ho. Played it.
The Ho exclamation.
They're in the midst of a renovation, restoration kind of blend with Kyle Franz, and it looks spectacular what they're doing. So I need to get back there. That's
I had Eastward Ho on my wild card list, TC.
The Ho exclamation point?
Maybe because they have an exclamation point. I just really respect the name and the, I'm a sucker for the coastline, so sign me up for that.
Hard to
I think
some good
I
branding.
think that place is going to bump up 50 spots in the next top 100 rating.
See, just so
Not
you don't
only
get
coastline,
canceled,
but a lighthouse. Love a lighthouse too.
it is near Cambridge, Royal Worlington and Newmarket. So
You nailed it, man.
just to make sure you don't get canceled.
The Holy Nine. God, all right. Well, that's a good list. I'll just add last one on my list. TC, you've raved about it to no end. It's not far from my house. Northland. I need to.
Yes.
Again, pretty inexcusable that I haven't gotten up there. But let's do the wild cards. These are just kind of don't fit in any other category, but you want to put them on the list. You want to read them into the public record. I can kick this one off, and I'm just going to list them off quick. We don't need to dive deep. This is kind of the bad friend category, just Landmanned and Tree Farm. Like, how have I not seen either of those golf courses? That's tough. Caprock, I'll throw on that. Kahuku up on the North Shore feels like one that, again, as soon as I saw that place, I was like, how have I not been there? Brambles, you talked about, TC. Hearing your description of that made me put it on the list. And then finally, like Chambers Bay, almost I would say Joe Lunardi, first man out of the literal bucket list, is how bad I want to play that one. So that's my wild card list. Soly, what do you got?
I have one in Holland. I'm not even going to try to say it in Dutch. I'm going to get canceled. Royal Hague is basically the English translation of that one. But despite my time spent in Amsterdam, I did not ever make it out to that golf course. I have just like, I don't even know if I want to do like all 10 of them, but I want to go get lost in England. Royal Worlington and Newmarket on that list. TC, I feel like we've done a decent job of getting lost a little bit in Scotland, a little bit in Ireland, and England just has a layer of depth that is hard to comprehend and hard to illustrate. And there's just so many places that I think about that I don't really even know that much about, but I know I want to go see. Like I saw Hollandwell several years ago with my dad, and I know Woodall Spa is right. I mean, I was just enchanted by Hollandwell. I think about that place all the time. 3 of the golf courses that I played that you won't find in any top 100 lists that I think about the most are Hollandwell, West Lancashire, and Silath on Solway. They're just these wonderfully charming, undermarketed English golf clubs and courses that are historic and just, it's just so up my alley that I want to go continue to explore some of these. Rye is on this list. You just literally go down the list. Because if you look at like the top 100 golf courses in England, West Lancashire is like 35th on the list in England, and it's probably one of like my 10 favorite golf courses in the world. Like it just is just this layer of charm that I can't get enough of. So
an England trip seems to be we seem to have critical mass here, guys.
I mean, you don't even need to go get lost. Still, just in Surrey, I've never played Worplesdon. I'll probably get canceled for that pronunciation. Worpleston. I've never played Woking. I've only played one Berkshire courses there. I want to go play the Blue there. Obviously, Swinley's there. Hankley Common, I know, is another one. Saunton is another one. It just the list goes on and on and on. One of my favorite trips we ever took was to the northwest of England, TC, back in 2017, and just kind of discovering. Just stumbling next door and be like, oh shit, what is this course? Stumbling from Formby Golf Club over to Formby Ladies, which is just a thrilling place. I'm dying to get back to England.
Solly, you're speaking my language, because I had Knott's, aka Hollandwell, on here. I had West Sussex. I've got Ganton.
TC, let's hit your list right now. Come on.
Oh, I got there's some weird shit I want to see in Nebraska, like Frederick Peak. It's a 9-holer. I'm dying to get back to Wild Horse. And you guys, like, that should be tops on your list. That's one of the best public courses in the world. Durness, I haven't been there yet. And I'd like to just go back to the Highlands. Like, I haven't been back to Brora in 4 or 5 years. And that's where, I'd like to get back to Golspie. I've never been to Fort Rose and Rosemarkie. Get back to Boat of Garten. There's St. Enodoc. Everybody raves about that. I think that's in Wales. My guy James Braid, the great man James Braid. Boat of Garten was completely enchanting, and I just want to see as much James Braid stuff as I can. Pinard over there as well. Soly, like the Braincaster, Royal West Norfolk, where the tide goes in and out. Dying to see that. And then, Depan and Royal Hague, that's on the list. Colt, but it's one of those things where it's like, we'll talk about it in the bucket list, but I got these places in the bucket list that I can't see those places until I've seen the stuff that leads up to it and ladders up. So
that's what a mature way to think about it, TC. I love it.
earn
Or you
it.
might have lost your mind. I don't know. What of the two?
Two thoughts there. I would love to, next time we do this episode next year, do a segment where it's like fake or real name. Some of the stuff that TC just read off is like, is that a real place?
Well, Neil, does that course
exist? I mean, some of these names are outrageous.
There was something that they did on Golf Club Atlas. I was telling Teach about it.
So stupid.
Wolfie was telling me, this is like back in the late 90s, early 2000s, where they basically made up a golf course called, I think it's called Foul Point. And it was like off the coast of Madagascar or on Madagascar. And they were basically trying to like identify some of the pretenders of like who were making shit up of courses that they hadn't played. And so they were like, oh yeah, like Foul Point, it was like in the top 10 in the world back in the 20s and 30s. And then like, we don't really know what happened to it or whatever. And so people started replying and be like, oh yeah, I hit that one 6 years ago.
God, that's
I
good
think
stuff.
they've since associated it with like, there's like a resort or a hotel there or whatever, but they've made up this legend about this, and then I think they eventually had to delete
It honestly sounds a little like the Hyde Park thing, like us taking Hyde Park and be like, yeah, it's straight up, man. It's one of the 5 best courses in the country.
But Hyde Park was earnest though too,
for sure.
There's some
true.
like awesome holes out there.
Does that conclude your wild card list, TC?
One other one, Jasper. I want to see Jasper.
Yeah.
Banff Springs gets a lot of run, but Jasper, I really want to see that. It looks kind of like a more pure version of Banff Springs from, Stanley Thompson.
Yeah.
Again, back to Hyde Park, all roads, right?
God, it's just I want to be on that trip just to see if you get your ass kicked by any disgruntled Canadians who are sick of the shade. Neil, what do you got?
Sorry, I just because of TC's list, I'm gonna have to ask Carson to move the car at street cleaning. Might have to eat the ticket.
Sorry, man.
We're just trying to move some things
England,
around,
man. I don't know.
God, TC's making up names. It's gonna cost me 65 bones. All right, I got wild cards. This is in no particular order here. Gamble Sands. I just keep seeing pictures of this place. I love the idea of like rural Washington and just that kind of high desert vibe. Similar, it reminds me a little bit of Sylvie's, just like the area of the country. So I want to see that. I'm Cabot St. Lucia. I'm just curious. Sure. I'm really curious to see, like, is it good? Is it worth it? Is it, I also just think along with this, Teeth of the Dog. I've never seen that course, hear a lot about it. Banff, you may notice my wild cards are kind of like faraway places. Eastward Ho is on this list. Guys, I got Old Head. I just think for fun, I'd love to go
I almost
Old
put
Head.
it on my list too. I know.
I'm like, wouldn't that be cool? Just get a picture of the Old Head.
I don't think I'm gonna have a bad time.
No, I know. It's like, maybe I should
what
just go to Old Head. Why not? Lawsonia Links.
Oh, so
feels like a easy. That's a blind spot. That place looks awesome.
You'd love it.
There's a course on Long Island that I think it's starting to get a lot more respect. St. George Golf and Country Club. It's out east on Long Island. The Alotian Club in Arkansas.
Yeah.
Never been to Arkansas. That place looks like pretty striking. Northwoods, right up my alley. Never been there. North of San Francisco. Love the look of that place. And then this is a kind of out of left field one. Have you guys ever heard of Kenyatta?
Yeah, in Illinois
Terry Hott.
or
Terre
Terre
Haute,
Haute,
Terre Haute.
Indiana.
Indiana. Yeah.
I sounded that one out. Terry Hott is how I would.
Terry Hott, I think, was the superintendent.
I mean, TerryHaute. I mean, come on,
TRRA, isn't it?
I thought
Terry
Terry Hott. I believe.
Oh, it is an
I
E.
don't know.
It is an E. Sorry,
Terre
Right?
Haute.
That's
it's
gotta
definitely
be.
Terre Haute.
I know.
Terry
But if we're
Hott.
being phonetic about it, it is probably
Terre
Terry
Haute!
Hott.
Exclamation point.
So emphasize that one so hard too.
Terry So I did an interview with this guy,
It's a Terry
Jimmy
Hott
James.
design originally.
Terry Hott. It's a town, not the man.
Terry
This
Hott
guy,
did
Jimmy
it, but then
James.
I think RTJ Jr. came in.
Uncle
afterwards.
Mo had to put his hands on it. All right, so this guy Jimmy James, he played all the top 100 courses in America in 1 year, and I interviewed him at a work event, actually for Carson's company, and it was great. The guy was a total menace. You should look him up. He wrote a book, and he's got this website, Jimmy's Top 100 Golf Course Tour. It's good. It's good stuff. Anyway, one thing that stuck out for me from that conversation, I think I asked him, like, what was the most unique place you played? And he brought up Kenyatta, and it's owned by this guy, Gerald Forsyth. It gets like, it's kind of like the course you mentioned in Florida, Soly. It gets like 100 rounds a year, and you basically call this guy up. He connects you with like the property manager, and you just get the course to yourself. They like lay out like a pyramid of golf balls on the range, and it's just like in pristine shape. And I guess this guy just like built this course for himself in Indiana. And I love stuff like that. And it seems like there's more popping up, like another one, Ladera.
Yeah.
That place looks
Unreal.
really, really, really striking. So these like private billionaire playgrounds, I don't know how I feel about that for the future of golf, but yeah, some of them I'd like to see them. The feeling of having a golf course to yourself is a very unique and special one. And so that's kind of why this is in that bucket list. I'd never heard of Kenyatta before I had that conversation.
I
Still
had not heard
Flyers
of it.
Club
Yeah,
did an event there a few years ago. I need to tell him, or I need to talk to him about how it was.
Good stuff. All right, that thus concludes the wild card category. Let's get to the main event, and then we'll get out of here. This is the bucket list. I asked everybody, just rank your top 5.
Top 5 white whales you haven't played.
Yes, white whales you have not played. I think we should go in descending order, 5 to 1. I think we should go one at a time, because I would love the suspense to build a little bit.
I would vote that we rename this the Lucas Glover. I haven't, but I want to. The Lucas Glover top 5.
Lucas Glover Captain Ahab list here. Who wants to start?
I'll go first.
All right, number 5.
Marion. Never played it, but I want to.
But I want to. I will go number 5. TC, this is kind of like when, a course sneaks into Best Picture at the Academy Awards that you're like, is it really technically up to snuff? Is it going to hold up to Oppenheimer? Like, probably not, but it's got to be on the list. That's how I feel about Denavity, where I'm like, look, man, is that going to compare to, the top 10 courses in the world? Probably not. But like, God, we made the whole fucking film about it. Jim Hartzell's written so many words about it. You've talked about it. This golf course is like taking up so much of my brain space, and I've never been there, and that's not okay. We need to make it happen. Soly?
I got Oakmont. I've been kind of close to playing it at times.
None of us have played it, right?
None have played. We were trying to get up there for the media day this year, but that's a consensus top 10. I'm not a top 100 chaser, but I'd say I am a top 20 chaser. There's not a top 20 golf course in the world that I am not like lining up to play. So that's one in the top 10 that I have not played.
Love it.
That was just outside. Honorable mention for me. But I've got Peachtree in Atlanta, more for a personal reason. Went to high school pretty much across the street. The Secret Garden, never laid eyes on it, never stepped foot on the property. Just feels like, yeah, man, that would, what? And I never even sniffed it. You know what I mean? Like that, not even like like, hey, man.
Love to have you out sometime.
Just not,
never.
Just wasn't running in those circles back in the day, Moved away, just haven't sniffed
it. It's a great golf course. The second hole is like probably one of the best par 5s in the world. I think it's highly seasonal too. You want to play it in the right season. You want to play it when it's kind of firm and the grass is popping a little bit.
And I also want to clarify, Augusta's not on this top 5 because you just don't do that.
Just don't do that.
You just don't do that.
It's just not what we're about.
You just
Like-
you don't want to be you don't want to be the thirsty guy.
No,
Yeah.
no, not at all.
TC number 4.
Number 4, the bad little 9.
Wow.
Jeez.
Dr. Bob.
Good God, I did not see that coming. Just
Yeah.
shot at me in
Whoa.
the eyes.
You know, it might be
TC
the
just threw an ephus pitch. Everyone's like, "What was that?"
it might be the forbidden fruit, right? Like we've talked so much, we've made fun of Dr. Bob so much, and that maybe we're blacklisted from there. I've heard that the other course, the 18-hole course out there is awesome. Everybody says it's like one of the best modern courses ever anywhere. So, but yeah, the bad little 9 just looks sick. I'm dying to play it.
God, what a pull! Somebody was just there. Maybe Gabby Herzig or someone was posting photos from there, and it truly stopped me in my tracks of just like, God, this place looks unbelievable, man. It looks
Truly provocative
so
shit, right?
cool. All right, number 4. I'll go kind of back to the top of the pops. Never
Can I
played
just put a respect on that being on your bucket list and not in your wild card section? That's the TC way.
That's so good. All right, number 4. I'll go back to the top of the pops. Never played Muirfield, but I want to. That's a pretty glaring hole.
That would have been at like the top of mine until I played it this year, and it lived up to it. It exceeded all expectations.
Pretty
It's that good.
pretty good claim to like maybe be the best course on earth, and it feels like I should check it out at some point. Soly?
Fisher's Island. Just
Yeah,
want
baby.
to go do the trip, want to do it. I've never even sniffed it or come close. Don't know when I ever will, just geographically and time frame. But that's I kind of rank these as like bucket of like, what would you drop everything to go do if it fell into your lap here in a couple days? Maybe not this time of year, but yeah, that's on there for me.
That's good.
Hell
Good
yeah.
way to frame it. Neil?
God, I have Sand Hills in my 4 spot. Just it feels like the TC. Correct me if I'm wrong. Feels like maybe the birth of the modern golf golden age with
For sure.
with
Yeah.
Bill and
The reason Bannon exists.
Mike
and that
Bannon,
kind of
yeah.
Remote
concept.
location golf. I
remote
think, yeah.
location too. Like to your point, Solly. Like that just feels like you need to make time for it. But definitely bucket list there.
I truly haven't stopped thinking about it since we went. That was what, 2 years ago, TC. That like Neil, it might
And how much I
pull
like
your brain in
Ballyneal
half.
too. I really like that just type of golf. So it just feels like a miss for me.
That's kind of one of those. I don't know if anything could possibly be more your shit type of places. It's God, it's so cool.
Yeah. Just hanging out on the back porch with
Yeah.
a beer and a burger. Yeah.
Oh, good stuff. A little ruby red squirt and vodka, and just watch the sun go down. It's a pretty good setup. TC number 3.
Yeah.
Number 3.
I'm gonna go to
Just ahead of the
New
bad little
Zealand.
9.
Paraparaumu Beach. That's up there, and that'll mean that it's kind of the center of golf in New Zealand, and that'll mean that I'm on a good New Zealand trip. Probably go see Titirangi, get back to Terry Eady, and go play
the
some
center
other
of
cool
golf
stuff
in New
too.
Zealand. I've literally never heard that course uttered in my life.
Neil's face when you just said that word was good stuff. And I like the 3D chess aspect of. I'm putting this on the list for the other things that it'll lead to is kind of just stacking discount codes.
And I was gonna have Sunningdale and Swinley in that, but I don't think that I'm not even qualified to put that on the bucket list yet because
Not for me to
I need
say.
to go play the other stuff that ladders up to that, right? I've played Woking, I've played New Zealand. That's really it as far as just that Heathland kind of.
Put St. George's Hill
Heathland.
on there. It's
St. George's Hill, Berkshire. Like there's so many.
good.
Yeah.
TC's looking at this like a baking exercise. It's not cooking. Okay.
Exactly.
There's an order to this stuff.
Yeah.
God, my list feels so fucking white bread basic.
Mine is too.
Going after TC. My next one, number 3, is Cypress Point. I don't know if you guys have heard of this one. It's in California. Just really, really supposed to be a really cool spot. Would love to check it out. Need to get there at some point. Google some photos if you've never seen it. It's really, really, really cool.
Next up for me, we've covered the next 2 for me, but Sandhills is my number 3 on my list as well.
Yeah.
3 for me, Tara Eady. I'm sick. I'm sick and tired of you guys talking about it. I'm sick of seeing it. I want to. That's it. Enough said.
TC number 2.
Number 2, God, I got 3 for
It's the
2
list
here, so I don't know.
currently moving.
Yeah, yeah.
This is gonna be like the ball knowers where you put who'd you put like Flacco or something as like the like eighth best quarterback, but
Yeah,
you had like a 3-way tie for eighth, but then the
yeah.
other guys in the tie just got bumped out of the top 10.
Listen, I want to do an honorable mention here. It's not my second. I'm just gonna do an honorable mention because it's my 6th. Sunset Golf Club in Quebec. It's
Oh, is
a
this the Instagram one?
Oh,
yeah,
like the miniature golf course.
yeah.
Hell
That
yeah.
place looks so sick. And going and playing it with those guys when they're like, shooting off fireworks and it's just
They do look like they run amok out
God,
there.
oh,
so sick.
it looks like just the perfect blend of you know crazy ass French Canadian dudes and like a golf a putt or short course with real grass and like some of the most outrageous little hazards you've ever seen. So that's one of them. I'm gonna say Hirono will be my second.
Yeah.
Wolfie was telling me they've got like old Tom Morris's like walking stick above the above the fireplace, like just crazy shit like that. But Hirono and Kawana and Tokyo, I want to see that. But Hirono is kind of top of the pyramid.
Well, that's also like your New Zealand one is like if you're playing Hirono, like you're probably gonna play one or two other spots while you're over there. You're probably not,
Or I'll
probably
just
not
go
a
up to
day trip there and
Sapporo
back.
and go see like a bunch of Hokkaido Nippon ham fighters.
I'm
games.
surprised that TC didn't have Hirono in his day trip.
For sure.
It could really mess with the international date line.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's really
Like, no,
time
it's
travel stuff.
actually less than a day because I went across the international date line.
Number 2, National Golf Links. Soly, you mentioned it earlier. I never been, would love to. Don't know how. It feels like a hole.
Muirfield number 2 for me. Asked and answered, covered on there. But yeah,
I'm shocked you haven't played it.
I know. It's just a glaring omission.
Not to be that good. You haven't seen that movie? What are you doing?
North Berwick for me. Again, because all of you guys rave so much about it. DJ, I would put episode 2 of the Scotland Tourist Sauce. I think it is the best voiceover work. That intro scene when you're kind of running through like all the House of Lords and people and how it kind of has that like English Gatsby vibe to it of like the summer town. And I don't know, the vibe of North Berwick. I would like to see that place.
Yeah.
I'll give you a 2-for-1 special then, because I'm going to give you Dunbar with that as well.
As a bucket list?
You need to see Dunbar if you're going to see
I need
North
to see
Berwick.
Dunbar. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, the moment has come. TC number 1. I cannot imagine what it was like for you to actually put 1 period space and a course name on your list here.
Morefontaine.
Really?
There you have it.
That's it, man. Tom Simpson, and they've got the other little 9-hole course too. I think the Valier course that I'd like to see. I guess 7 of the 9 greens are original there, but yeah, just everything that I'd like to sit with like just a first growth bottle of wine on the back porch there and just hang out and recount the round. It looks like the coolest forested little experience out there.
The Forest Floor Invitational.
Yeah.
TC. Be good stuff. My number 1, Tara Edie. All the reasons you mentioned, Neil. Never seen it, but I want to. It's just I don't know that I've ever been more sold on a place. It's funny talking to people around the world who are like, yeah, man, I don't know. I saw that video Soly did, and I just I joined. Like it was that good. It's just it's great. So that I think like your nice comment about the North Berwick thing. That's how I feel about Soly's Tara Edie episode. Was just like, all right, I've never ever wanted to go somewhere more than I want to go to this place.
Plus, just like Randy's account of it too.
Yeah.
Which is like, he doesn't, I don't know, he doesn't seem to get sucked into the sheep vibe. He was like, man, that place was sick. Just like really quietly, like, whoa.
I think that's like a life goal spot of like, man, like if that would be true success, like joining, joining a place like that would be, top of the pyramid.
Soly, I'm trying to predict where you're gonna go here. I've
already mentioned it. So
that's true. That's true. Sorry, I forgot about that. Go ahead.
National Golf Links is the one that keeps me up at night and just feels like it'd be so perfectly up my alley. So
All right, we gotta go together. We gotta start consolidating some of these where we've got overlap on our list.
This list would give me coverage on the top 18 courses in the world via top100golfcourses.com. So as I said, I'm not a top 100 chaser. I don't really care to like check it off the list, but the top like 20 are all golf courses I want to see in my life, and that would be pretty far along.
All right, Neil, round it out. Last one.
Yeah, last one on the Lucas Glover Captain Ahab collab list. In the spirit of Captain Ahab Maidstone, and you know what?
Winning the Hamptons.
I've had a someone like offer to host me there. It's just like I need to just do it. I need to go. It's just hard to
Then
get
they
out
found
there.
out that our family didn't come over on the Mayflower.
Yeah, that's a problem, but I don't know. This place
23andMe report and we
looks
see
so
whether
sick
you
in
can get
pictures, and I maybe have built this one up. This one in like Fishers, but I played Fishers last year. Just the coast and the history and the just like I don't know because almost because it's not talked about as much out on that Long Island scene. I think it makes it more magnetic for me.
Man, guys, this was a fun one. The lists are now out there, and
can we clarify at the end of this? We're not going to do all of this in 2025.
No.
If anybody heard this and was like, "Wow, these guys are going to play 1,000 rounds of golf,"
this feels like an annual thing of like, hey, what here's what I said last year. Here's what I crossed off. What is one course of all the ones that everybody talked about? Each guy, what's one course that like you're committing to playing in 2025?
The timing works for U.S. Open Media Day, Oakmont. That'd be the one that.
Yeah, some of it depends on like access, though. A lot of courses where it's you cannot simply walk into Mordor. I would say Innis though, for that reason.
TC,
I've got one that it's not on my list, but I meant to mention it in the Golden Age stuff. Old Town.
Oh yeah,
really,
so cool.
I really need to see Old Town.
Yeah. Well, guys, this was super fun. Great idea. This was a good one to put together. I feel like this one feels like an annual episode. List building. Love it. We'll catch everybody on the next episode. Thanks for the time. Thanks for listening. And we got a lot of golf to go play, guys. We need to start making some plans.
A lot of homework. Sorry, honey.
Go play Hyde Park.
That's
folks.
right. If you're in the area, you just simply can't miss
Don't do that.
Terry Hot.
I'll give you
Terry
TC's
Hot.
phone number if you go play Hyde Park.
Shout out to Terry.
For FanDuel, must be 21 and older and present in select states. For Kansas, in affiliation with Kansas Star Casino, or 18 and older and present in D.C. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Visit rg-help.com. Call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut, or visit mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Hope is here. Visit gamblinghelplinema.org or call 800-327-5050 for 24/7 support in Massachusetts, or call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY in New York. Thanks for listening.